Hello and welcome to the workshop, Who's Hiring While We Are Physical Distancing? My name is Fatma Tufexiev, and I'm an employment specialist with Next Steps Employment Center, the Riverdale location. I'm recording this on April 8th, 2020. We are about 4 weeks into physical distancing. We're in the fourth week. So we're all getting used to this idea of staying far away from other individuals in order to flatten the curve with COVID-19. During this time, with a lot of businesses closed, and unless they're essential services, there have been a lot of layoffs and a lot of news about people losing their jobs, the high unemployment rate, and some people you may know, or yourself included, may have been impacted by those layoffs. So I'm hoping that today's workshop about who's hiring can give you some hope and some inspiration to either start or continue your job search and know that there are a lot of opportunities out there, even with the constantly changing circumstances surrounding the coronavirus. So today's workshop will cover a little brief introduction into what physical distancing is. We're going to break down which industries are currently hiring, and I'm going to provide some examples of employers that are hiring. Most of the employers I'm referring to are in the Greater Toronto area, some for Ontario, all over Ontario, but with more of a focus on Toronto and the surrounding areas, including Mississauga, Scarborough, Vaughan, North York. We're also going to talk about what kinds of positions are available and where to look and how you can apply. So just briefly, with COVID-19, it was announced on March 11th, 2020 by the World Health Organization that it was classified as a pandemic. And in order to prevent the spread of the coronavirus and protect the community, there's been a request by government officials that everyone needs to stay home as much as possible and keep our distance from others. So while we're going through physical distancing, there it's made a big impact and change into how we live our lives. A lot more delivery of products and food, a lot more demand for groceries and healthcare services, and all these changes in our behavior has impacted the labor market and the demand for different types of jobs. So the first is healthcare. I think that's a pretty obvious one for everyone. So right now, there's an increased burden on the healthcare system with every day a higher number of people who are getting tested and getting the symptoms for COVID-19. And as a result, within the healthcare system, there's been a demand for a lot more hiring. So this includes hospitals. There's a University Health Network, which is hiring for the 5 hospitals listed there: Toronto General, Toronto Western, Princess Margaret, Toronto Rehab, and Missioner Institute. There's also other hospitals that are hiring, including Humber River, Scarborough, Sunnybrook. There are a lot of senior living homes that are greatly impacted by the coronavirus and are therefore hiring a variety of roles within healthcare, including personal support workers and um, dietary aides, registered practical nurses, etc. And organizations like Life Labs, that's responsible for taking blood and taking people's information. So here we have a list of the different types of roles that are hiring within healthcare. On the column on the left are some of the more, I think, obvious types of roles that you may expect to see: personal support workers, registered nurses, registered practical nurses, dialysis aid and porters, medical lab technicians, occupational therapists, and nutrition and dietary aides. But this column on the right has other types of roles that you may not think about right away with healthcare, but to support the infrastructure and the business within healthcare, there's a demand for these types of roles as well. So there's a lot of positions for payroll or accounts receivable, positions within finance, director of financial planning, chief financial officer, business analyst roles, project planning, a lot of positions within housekeeping and cleaning, either light cleaning or heavy cleaning, and receptionist roles as well. So if this is something, if you have previously been working in payroll or in reception in a different field, it could be something to consider taking those skills and experience and transitioning them to an area that's very much in demand right now. I also wanted to make a point that some of the positions within healthcare do have requirements for specific certifications or licensing, but there are positions like porter, for example. They're hiring within the hospitals and senior living homes that the requirements are um, grade 10 or high school diploma. And other than that, there isn't specific training that you require, but if you have experience working with vulnerable populations, that's definitely an asset. So this would be an area for you to look into, browse through the job descriptions and the postings, and be flexible to think about how your skills and experience could fit. The next is the food industry. I feel like every day there's reports on the news about grocery stores and how difficult it is for people ordering groceries, or what it's like, the lines and the updates within the grocery stores themselves. It's definitely a very booming industry right now. So all the major big grocery store chains are doing a lot of hiring. I listed some examples here. Sobeys, Freshco, Loblaws, Shoppers Drug Mart, Fortino's, Walmart, Maple Leaf Foods. And in addition to the major grocery store chains, there's also the smaller grocery stores that are still very busy and are also hiring. So some examples here are Organic Garage, Fresh City Farms, The Big Carrot. And some of the positions within the food industry include everything from team member, grocery clerk, cashier, stock person, um, working in different areas within the grocery store, including deli, cake decorating, customer fulfillment associate. There's even roles for overnight fulfillment associate. So if you prefer to work at a time where you're not going to be public facing as much, that would also be an option to consider. Within the food industry, another area that's really growing is agriculture. In order to keep the grocery shelves full during COVID-19, there is an increased demand for more agriculture work within Ontario. And there's three main websites that are listing agriculture jobs. So if you just were to Google any of these three, you would be able to see access to all the postings that are up to date. There's AG Careers, Agri Recruiting, and Litherland and Company. And within the agriculture, there's a huge variety of jobs as well. Everything from sales, management, sales rep, marketing, bookkeeping. There's positions within manufacturing, shipping, receiving, a line operator, DZ truck driver, and more technical roles, including farm equipment, elevator operator. So a wide variety within agriculture as well. And you might think, these are areas where there's a lot of room for training to be provided, a lot of room for transferable skills to be applied. So even if you have never worked within agriculture, this might be something to consider if your skills and experience could be transferred in a way in this area. Number three is the financial industry. With a lot of branches closing right now, temporarily closing or limiting hours, there is an increased demand for online banking. And also with a lot of individuals losing their jobs, concerned about their financial situation, there may be more of a demand for moving money around, taking out loans, renegotiating mortgages, etc. So there is definitely a demand for individuals working at financial institutions to assist the customers at this time. So with banks that are hiring, most banks are doing some form of hiring right now. Some examples that I saw online were Bank of Montreal, Scotiabank, Royal Bank of Canada, TD Bank. I know Capital One was doing a lot of hiring. And the roles are all over the place, everything from mortgage specialist, banking advisor, customer service representatives, IT. We'll have more about IT in the next slide, but roles within insurance, mortgage, everything there. So this is definitely an area that's growing. It may be more online, it may look a bit different, but this could be something that would be worth pursuing as well. Number 4 of who's hiring right now is IT, information technology. With physical distancing in full effect right now, more and more people are going online to do their shopping, to look into their purchasing and their services. And as a result, a lot of organizations need to either enhance or increase their online presence. And to do so, they're really relying on programmers and developers and different individuals within the IT framework. So some who are hiring are digital health companies. There's definitely an increased demand there for any organization that offers something related to healthcare. One example is an organization called Blue Dot that's doing quite a bit of hiring. Shopify, they support online merchandisers with online retail, which is very much booming right now. So they're hiring quite a large number of IT roles. SAP, cybersecurity organizations, banks, as I mentioned in the last slide, with an increased demand in online banking, there's more of a demand for app developers, individuals who can provide IT support, and who can help enhance the applications that people are using. And Wattpad as well is doing hiring. Here are some examples of the roles that are currently available online. There are a lot of positions for individuals who do developing, whether software developing, Android developing, full stack developing, engineers, data engineers, software engineers. There's also within IT, product design, within IT organizations, customer service. So that's definitely a very transferable skill set. If you've done customer service within other industries, it might be worth looking into companies that you may not have previously considered, but you can definitely apply your skills there. Social media, definitely IT companies hiring in social media roles and business development. Number 5, video game companies. Some lucky people have a lot of free time on their hands, so video games are having a big boost in people playing them and the demand for them. So as a result, video game companies are growing, they're hiring. Some examples include Ubisoft, Enthusiastic Gaming Inc., and Gameloft, and there are definitely others out there. The positions I saw available online within these companies were a lot of positions for programmers, developers, design engineers, technical artists, and even junior game designers. And some of the roles asked for very little previous work experience, or the experience was preferred or an asset, but not a requirement. So definitely something to consider. Number 6 is call centers. Again, with more people accessing services online, there's more of a demand to call in if they have any questions about what they're eligible for, or questions about the products, or questions about how something works. So there's a need for more customer service representatives to assist those individuals. A lot of these offer working from home, which is an asset. and there's lots of different shifts that are available. And some examples are, Kids Help Phone is hiring a lot right now. 311 Toronto is hiring for many roles within customer service representatives. TD Bank call centers hiring, Philips and Randstad. Number 7, security and cleaning. So cleaning is definitely an essential service right now, and we owe so much to the individuals who are working in that industry. There are a lot of roles for light duty cleaners and heavy duty cleaners within healthcare settings, including hospitals, condo buildings, and cleaning service companies. Likewise, security. There's an increase in organizations hiring security to, for example, at grocery stores, to stand outside and count the number of people that are being allowed into the store, and to provide security for individuals who are not complying with physical distancing regulations. So security, also within condo buildings, healthcare settings, there's an increased demand there. And here's a list of some employers who are hiring within this industry. First Service Residential, the City of Toronto is hiring a lot within cleaning and security. Paragon Security, the Toronto Catholic District School Board, North York General Hospital, Mary Maids, and the others listed here. Number 8, logistics. With everybody wanting to order groceries or order clothes or order supplies home, that's very much a demand for logistics. Amazon is the one that comes to mind first, but there are lots of other organizations that are hiring drivers and delivery people as well. So this is a booming industry. And there's roles here that for example, reception and administrative assistant. I had a client who previously was working admin, got laid off when COVID-19 began, and she actually got hired by a company last week, a logistics company in Mississauga, doing administrative work with them. So even though she never worked in that industry, her skills and experience are very transferable. So on the left here, we have some examples of companies that are hiring due to their increased demand. And on the right, some of the sample roles that are currently available. Number 9, nonprofit. When COVID-19 struck Ontario and Canada, the individuals who are most impacted are those who are most vulnerable. So a lot of nonprofits are increasing their services to help meet the demands. And a big example of that is homeless shelters. As homelessness is expanding, and in order to comply with social distancing within the shelters, the City of Toronto opened up several new shelter spaces within the city. Toronto Shelter Network is hiring several relief workers. Another example is 311 Toronto. They're hiring several contact center service representatives. And within the City of Toronto and City of Mississauga, they're both hiring multiple positions, again, to meet the increased demand. And you can see here within the sample roles that, again, it's quite varied. Everything from payroll, business analyst, to cleaning, engineer and training. So a wide variety of roles available. So they're coming to the end of our workshop. I just wanted to give you a list here of ideas of where to look when you're job searching. A good idea is always to visit the company website. So if you're thinking about any of the companies that I've mentioned in this workshop today, and you can definitely rewind and pause on a slide to get information about the employers I'd mentioned. But if you want to just go into Google, type in the name of the company, and then type in the word careers or jobs, you can very easily find from the company website positions that are available. Other great resources to look at are the websites mentioned here: Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Career Builder, Indeed, Monster, Workopolis, and the last two are ones I mentioned earlier that list agricultural jobs currently available. And these are getting updated daily. When I was looking and doing my research for this workshop, I noticed that even over the span of the last 4 days, every day there were several new postings being put up. Definitely the nature of the application process may change. There's going to be a lot more virtual interviews, either through Skype or Google or Zoom, maybe less in-person meetings. But a lot of these industries and employers I mentioned today, their businesses are growing, their industries are increasing in demand, and they need more individuals to fill those roles. So while some areas of our economy are taking a big hit right now, there are others that are growing. So I hope that you find this inspirational. I hope that you take from this the idea that there are always jobs out there. Even during a recession, there are always opportunities for a different area of work than perhaps you were previously working in. And if there's something here that interests you that's a bit different from what you've done before, I urge you to really think about making changes to your resume and cover letter to highlight the transferable skills and the transferable experience. And if you need any assistance with that, please contact your local Next Steps Employment Center. We have 7 locations. We have 2 in Mississauga, Vaughan, North York, Scarborough, and Toronto. We would be very happy to help you for free to make those changes to enhance your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, to highlight those transferable skills, to highlight how your experience could help you be an asset in one of the industries that's currently facing a need. So thank you for listening to this workshop. If you have any questions or comments for me, my email address is on the screen. You can learn more about our workshops and our programs on the website. And please feel free to follow us on our social media accounts. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you.